seeing
Jay.
Jade
What's up,
polarize, Jack aspect. I think ultimately, like, this sort of happen in EU. It's like a general feeler, right? Like, you have 6 games to play. You know you're competing with the 100 best in your region.
Okay,
Now what
I'm
happens?
lagging.
Is my drop spot contested? What does my pathing look like? You know, there's so many, all these variables we have to keep in mind, especially as we move throughout these games. I feel like this first one's fine, right? Like, we have some points on the board. That's okay. Now what we have to look forward to is, like, where do these people land? How do they adjust to this new meta that's kind of self-contained in the grand finals? Making it into the top placement, as I guess as high up along the placement as possible.
Yeah, and the goal is to be able to convert off of this first game. So we kind of talked about in the intro to the show, what is the pacing of a 6-game tournament? And over the course of it, you really kind of want to get yourself established early, because whoever gets out to that lead is going to start running it. And if you fall before getting that first round of placement points, or even that second round of placement points, it can get really hard to establish yourself into a rhythm and get the game moving.
Absolutely, my man. Here
After
we go.
this,
We're
I'm
going to take a
gonna
look
run
at
those
some of them. I mean,
solos.
Cal, you know, he put on a show for us yesterday. He said, look, guys, I'm going to make some stuff happen, but couldn't get the footing you're talking about here in the first game.
Yeah, and the same thing happening to Boogie
How
here
did
is
he
getting caught.
have
And notice
a
a common
jetpack?
theme for all of these players.
On a
They're all
jetpack.
on the edge of zone. They're rotating right around the timer with everyone else, and they're not establishing control over their space. But all of a sudden, all of these other names go down, and you get an opportunity to step up. And notice here how Blake had 0 mats. He had next to nothing there, next to nothing here again, and he's chaining together these impact eliminations. Those 3rd and 4th elims, if he doesn't get those, he doesn't turn this into a more. He doesn't create a victory royale. He doesn't have 20 points in the lead. But because he's able to get those elims and then had the harpoon to be able to get the loot and turned it into another one, he maintains the high ground control. And as the circle moves back over the course of the mountain, he gets the elimination onto Illust as well. And again, we go back to his first 2 eliminations. We talked about the 3rd and 4th ones being so key. He had nothing in those early ones as well. You saw his loadout and you saw his mats. He had to push forward and he had to find them. So all of a sudden we talk about how every one of those little interactions matter. He shows 6 different key ones, but particularly the first 4 changed the course of his game. And it wasn't a traditional route that we've seen in solos to a victory royale, but a very well executed one.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. These are the old guard we're talking about, right? They know how to play the game. They have the time. They have all of the hours dedicated to playing and having and kind of owning that mechanical prowess. And now it's just kind of falling back on that, right? And that's what led Blake to the win here. And I gotta know, like, I think the biggest question for me is, like, look back at EU game 1, right? We see Flois comes out strong, same way, 20 points, then fizzles. Do we think that could happen here for Blake?
So that's been the story of a lot of what we've seen on broadcasts going through. It's really difficult for players to kind of convert right away. One, you immediately draw attention to you. Everyone else in the lobby is looking to see that name when you go down. They're going to try and probably hawk your drop spot in your route just a little bit extra, maybe see if they can't throw some shots over there, as we saw Kylix do to Tayson in match number 6 in Europe. If you're able to shut somebody down, then all of a sudden it's anybody's race. However, which we haven't seen in a while, is somebody be able to rack off those back-to-back games we saw in Europe just last week, and you're able to build out a substantial lead. However, today, I don't think just a lead is going to be enough. It's consistent, and then it's going to take one huge effort from somebody to separate them. And 6 elims of the victory royale, that's about average. Like we've said, it's around 18 to 20 points for a winner is what you can basically pencil in every time.
I mean, that's all it takes, right? Just a handful. And you said it best at the beginning of the show. It's like just being able to stamp your name there and say, look, it doesn't matter what's happening here. You guys are going to play the game I want to play because I know how to do this. I've been in situations like this in the past. That's why I'm here in the first place. And that's why we're all here in the first place. So I need to be able to make a statement and say, look, I'm going to be the winner. You're going to play my game. You're going to step away from me, and I'm going to just pull ahead. We have to see if that's what happens here for Blake. Very strong showing. Now, we do have 5 games left to go till we crown an FNCS champion. Now, with all that being said, Fortnite fan, we're ready to hop back into game, so let's send it over to our casters, Aussie and Monster Deface, to get us into game number 2 on the day.
Thank you, Zeke. Thank you, Sundown, for the great breakdowns and, of course, keeping us dialed in with the competition and the action here. It's game number 2 here at the NA East Grand Finals table. We're here to eat. We're here to see a lot go down right now. Ozzy, take a look at this battle map. What's standing out to you right now? Because I'm looking at Sweaty Sands, and I see 4 players contesting it already.
Yeah, 4 players, Sweaty Sands. I'm seeing 3 players at Yacht as well as looking a bit hefty. So trying to look for those places that are a little bit congested. Obviously, coming into Grand Finals, these players knew where everyone was dropping. They quite often know. A lot of these big names have their drop spots that everyone knows they go to, but it's looking still pretty spread out. We got 3 at Authority, not too many at Caddy. That 2 at Caddy is looking so good to me. Both those players in such a good position. And I was going to comment last game, I was talking about who ends up with the Caddy launcher. Is it someone who's not used to having it? And it was Polarized. Polarized has been going Caddy, so I have to think that Polarized managed to hunt down Cody and take him out with the Caddy loot and get it back into his own hands. We didn't get to see it, so I'm not 100% sure, but we see Blake over here at Pleasant, which means he's also near Clix, so I'm happy to imagine that other player here is the big Clix. So Clix has been playing a lot smarter recently, but if you're going anywhere right now and you're going to have to try and take an early fight, it's not going to want to be with Clix.
And just to answer the question, it was just a weird cross of fate between Aspect finding Cody on the storm line and then Polarized picking it up at that exact moment when he went down.
Yeah.
We'll see how Caddy's launcher plays its factor into this game here. On the other hand, though, we have a battle breaking out, and there's a big group of Marauders on the bridge looking to play spoiler here, part of this fight. You can hear the shots going off. They're just ringing. I think they have the focus on the player on the run right now.
Oh,
and yes, Prickly Boy's
no.
looking for the big shot. No, he's not going to find it. But my gosh, those are some great AR follow-ups.
Those are some really good AR follows with a gray burst rifle. That's a hard weapon to do that much damage with. 20 damage a bullet, but it shoots 2 at a time. It's very hard to connect 2 shots back to back with it as well. Doesn't have that extra scope on it like the epic and legendary variants do, as Prickly Boy is really pushing this one. He is going aggressive. He has 0 points on the board. We saw him go down last game. He wants to try and prove us wrong, show that he can win these fights as he drops in here, and no, never mind. He's going to show us that he's going to lose again, unfortunately. Prickly Boy, fan favorite. I'm cheering him on, but he goes down to Nobu Tragics, who is on 8 points, having a much better day today.
Absolutely. Great defense. Plays that quick reverse card. He says, not me. It's going to be you who gets taken out this time around. And that was against all odds. Let's not forget, he was hit for white damage. No shield in that battle. On Frenzy Farms, though, outside of Risky Reels, it looks like we have a little bit of engagement going down. It's Bucky. We saw Bucky go down before, and oh my gosh, it's going to make quick work of Simple with a better angle there on the battle. You can see 31 of the current players also competed in the FNCS Invitational Finals. That was the most recent major solo competition hosted by Epic, the official Fortnite competition that has most recently occurred. So 31 players cross over into the grand finals this time around. That is ridiculous. That is so consistent.
Yeah, in what is one of the hardest formats to be consistent. We've seen it already today. One hunting rifle shot, just one mistake can end everything. Trios, at least if your teammates can back you up, maybe they can get the revive off. You kind of have a chance to go ahead with it. But solos, it's very hard to be that consistent. But some of these players make it look easy. You've got Kanata in here, you've got Stretch, you've got Booger, you've got Dubs, you've got players who have been at the top of their solo game since even before World Cup. We talked about how Aspect's even back here today. So there's Debs. It looks has a really good loadout above him, but he has the pepper going, has the legendary compact SMG, something we haven't seen too much, but this loadout's one that I kind of leaned for in a non-stack lobby, trying to just, go super aggressive. You have the hunting rifle to get a long range shot, you've got the SMG for close range damage, but I feel like assault rifle just to get those storm surge tags.
I mean, we've seen it all. I saw earlier today Tomas HD running a tactical shotgun and just a sniper with movement and double heals, so it's up to the player's preference, I guess. In this case, he's going to run that compact. I can only assume that he's going to be putting that controller to use and probably looking to box dive into some players. And just talking about that, I mean, players like Furious did not qual through, so Lazy Lakes now not having the FNCS Invitationals champ in the game right now. It's pretty big for him. On your side, though, you do see the format and how it's going to play out, guys. This is 15 points for the Victory Royale. And placement starts being divvied out at 75th place. But you don't get your second until top 50. We can see how much of a struggle it is to even make it that far.
Yeah, and that's what you're talking about. That's what you normally look at when you're looking at kind of a point. You're looking at a placement format. It's because 14 eliminations is what you need to equal a win. That is ridiculous. You've got to think how hard it is to drop 14 eliminations on the best of the best players in your region when there's so many eyes on you. There's 94 people alive. Having none of it, like you said, trying to put that legendary compact SMG to use. As Quaz now stuck in an awkward spot. You can't build here because of the half walls. They're skirting them. Illis jumping up and getting shots. Quaz just looks like he's reeling. Just can't kind of recover from that positioning. And that's all it takes. I talked about it in solos. He just mispositions, takes a fight up against the half wall where he can't build, and that's enough for him to lose it. He can't do anything, and he's just stuck.
That's it. Illis crowning himself the new king of Lazy Lakes. On the other hand, though, Bugha is going to get into the box on Reverse 2K. We've already seen Reverse 2K go down once this time, and he's going to go down again. And it's not looking good. Game 1, Game 2 out of the window now for Reverse. And Bugha finally secures himself some points. That's going to be one that he's going to desperately need because his Game 1 was nothing impressive either.
And Reverse, someone who has been performing really, really well recently. Obviously had his kind of rise and prominence around World Cup, qualified for solos, had that legendary duo run with Ninja, almost managing to qualify. And since then, kind of, I feel like had a bit of a slump in between, didn't hear too much, but recently was a player that I had high expectations for, performing so well in solos and trios, and he goes down again, unfortunately. Not sure what's going on there. He reacted well, though. Bugha had the crash pad, fell in through the roof.
Bugha's in here, too?
Reverse managed to turn around and put the stare on his head to block it, so reacted well, but just...
Damn.
Kanata falls to Ronaldo! No! You know Ronaldo's screaming about that one. You know how good that must have felt for Ronaldo. Whether it feels good or bad, taking down a friend, but Kanata goes down in Game 2, and I don't think Kanata has many points on the board. We saw him go down early in Game 1 as well. Ronaldo is definitely shouting about that one right now.
That's right. We'll be seeing you on the battle bus, buddy. But Ronaldo, man, one of the more exciting players I'm happy to see performing right now. It's his dream, basically, to continue to put up. And all he wants to do this time around is place. He wants to place high as well. And he is on track to do just that. Someone on track to do big things here, Smack. Smack's been finding his fair share of early game eliminations. We talked earlier because it's just not the region to really ramp up, right? They're known to have that slower, more passive play. This second game, though, looks like players are finding their confidence. Players are not trying to fall behind. They're not trying to leave it to the later half. They're really getting into the action right now.
And wow. Oh. Wow. That really hurt me.
He gets the minis back as well, but I'm looking at the materials monster, I'm looking at the zone, I'm looking at everything. I don't know if that fight was worth it.
And that's the thing, right? These storm fights, they hold a lot of ramifications. The zone now to that feed, that elimination feed, to see how it all plays out. On the other side, though, Polarized this time actually secures Caddy's loot. Remember, Cody got it last game. He got away with it, but he got shut down by Aspect early on. Now Polarized has it. With 10 points already, he's confident coming into this game. And I think this is setting him up for success right now.
He needs a few more rockets, maybe 5 rockets. Not bad, but not fantastic. But that's why when you have the caddy launcher, refreshes are even more important. Getting eliminations where you can go and get the loot, and quite often players carrying those rockets is huge. But he still does have crash pads too, so he can maybe save those rockets just for the rotates and can maybe use the crash pads to get in if he has to go aggressive. But it's Kid's Mythic Charge Shotgun as well. I feel like the Shockwave launcher gets so much attention because it is an item that is just so devastating and is so visually exciting when it kind of just creates these big moments. But Polarized, obviously showing the strength of the shotgun. He's backing himself. He's going straight up on this player's box. He doesn't technically need this fight, showing how confident he is to take it, though. This player's pushing away, and maybe Polarized, sensing that he's a little bit scared, a little bit nervous, might be someone he might want to fight because he's trying to disengage. He really doesn't want to have a bar of this, but never mind. Polarized going to disengage past it, choosing the fact that he needs to farm up some materials. Only has 39 builds so far.
Okay, whatever.
And this is what I was talking about. Game 1 had the fewest eliminations before the third zone this weekend. EU notably ramps up. They go crazy with it. But NA East has that history. They're always playing a lot slower. I think this game 2, though, might be looking to set up the stage a little differently. We're seeing a lot of action from players like Polarize with the confidence coming in hot with it. Here comes the classic crash pad. He goes on in, he follows up, he finds the big crash. It's on to Rocks, and they exchange back and forth, and no! Polarize falls, and Rocks is going to be the king of Kit's mythic loot.
And that is so unfortunate for Polarize. He picked a target that he could jump in on, and I was going to say Rocks must have a heavy tack shotgun because he hit him for, I think, close to max damage. So with the change to shotguns now, tactical shotgun is impossible to be able to do 200 damage no matter how good your shot, but he did close to it twice in a row, and he falls. You can't. If you get Caddy's loot, if you are the one who's in the driver's seat, you are in the king's seat, you need to be able to continue that dominance forward, and takes one fight that he does not win, and that's it. Now Rocks has such a good position to have a big game here. Don't know if he was carrying extra rockets. I think he was. So really, really good position for Rocks. Really, really poor fight for Polarized. Oh no.
Things are going to catch up here, though. King looks like he found a big opportunity to slip in a couple shots here. And now he's going to be looking to engage onto this battle. It's Macwood, though. They're going to take this one into the storm. This is going to be an important one to commit to. You got to get it over with here and now. He's only got 2 chug splashes.
No way.
Yes, he goes on in, and oh my gosh, Macwood nearly bails himself out of that sticky situation. The tactical shotgun versus the charge. It's so interesting to see them go down in the boxes, because it's a matter of who catches the bigger opening shot. If you miss that charge, it's over. The tactical wins every single time.
Oh,
every single time. And Sundown was talking about it in the pre-show. There's a lot of pressure on Macwood today. He said it out there. He stated he is going for the highest earnings in NA East in online tournaments with Zexo, one of the players he's trying to overtake, not being here in the finals. But Zexo, watching from home, I guarantee is going to be smiling at that one. They are teammates, they are friends, but still, he put a little bit of beef on the line, and there it is. Vibe Fires takes down Binky, who we saw Vibe go down last game, and Clicks picks up an elimination in the feed as well.
That's right, he took out COD Genesis there. And here's E11 Daxter sitting on the storm line right now, just hiding out, looking up, trying to make sure that everything's A-okay. He's got Starving Boxer right up above him, hanging, sitting low. On the other side of things, though, P-God coming straight and direct out of Holly Hedges. P-God with some of the most active elims for NA East early on in that last game. He fell on that rotating zone coming into that mid game. He only picked up 7 points. This game drastically different than the last. No elims, and finally placement point gets divvied out there. 75 players down.
And if you guys want me to go, well, I'm gonna get on COD, so I'm gonna stream COD, and then yeah, that'll be it for the rest of the stream. So part 2, no, not part 2. Okay, I'm gonna stream COD. I'm gonna get on COD. I'm gonna stream again, so